Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Liverpool. Well, then it was um, a very interesting way to continue the Christmas fixtures. This time last year, when we were chasing the championship, we put in some absolutely five-star performances around this time of the year. And it looks like this time of the year is kind of good for Liverpool. Klopp and the players, and they always seem to be very concerned about the number and fixture of games, but we just seem to excel at this period of the year where so many other teams struggle and have failed in the past and continue to fail. And this was, again, another fantastic performance from us. One which is kind of one of those, you would say normally is like a once-in-a-season type freak result. However, this season we've seen it too many times. We've seen it in our own case when we lost to Aston Villa 7-2. We saw it in the Tottenham Man U game. It seems a bit crazy. It feels like we're seeing these things that happen normally so rarely happen way more often and frequently than anyone expected. And I don't think anyone, be it Liverpool or Palace fans going into this game, would have expected this result. I think from a Palace perspective, I think they were looking on decent point against West Ham, probably about their same kind of level, but thinking we got some good attacking players. Liverpool's defence is a little bit patched up. We can probably attack them, and knowing their defence is fairly resolute. And from our side, it was, after a good performance against Tottenham in the week, kind of rectifying some of that poor performance against Fulham the week before, another away fixture down in London. It was important this time round that we didn't, make a lot of the mistakes that we made against Fulham, and that we focused on just making chances and ultimately getting the 3 points which we were unable to do at Fulham. You saw everything that came out of the game around how the players, Klopp, everyone just it was completely unacceptable what happened, particularly in the first half against Fulham, and how no one really wanted that again. And so it was just really refreshing to one see the team bounce back, but two bounce back in the way they did. Any team, be it a successful team or a not successful team, will always have setbacks. And as you say in life, and this is the same in football as well, it's how you bounce back from those and how you come back from adversity, how you react to it, that actually makes champions and makes great players. And this was both this game and the Spurs game just shows kind of that resilience that Klopp has built within the Liverpool teams, and big credit to all of the players who stepped up, counted their numbers. There was no one who was left behind. Everyone carried their weight, and it was just a fantastic performance. 7 goals was crazy. We were clinical like we haven't been this season at all. I'd say other than maybe the Leeds game right at the beginning of the season where everything we shot seemed to go in goal. We've missed quite a lot of chances. We've been a little bit wasteful, struggled to score. Defence has been leaky a little bit. And this game was just kind of out of character almost for the rest of the season for us so far, but in a very positive way. After obviously the very tough game against Tottenham during the week, it was important that Klopp continue to rotate the team just to make sure it was continue to be fresh, but also as we reintroduced a couple of players back in who were coming back from injury, it is important that Klopp kind of mix the team up slightly to give them the minutes they need to get their sharpness and match fitness back, because we will need that whole squad, particularly over the next couple of months, and also definitely in the short term over those busy Christmas periods. That included the introductions of Naby Keita and Takumi Minamino into the starting 11, which was really great to see. Keita, again, I've talked about him in the past, particularly in the review of the Fulham game, how we needed that play from the midfield that was going to pass the ball forward into the attackers and drive forward with the ball, and we saw some great examples from that from him today. And Minamino as well, another player who kind of has been maybe put on the sidelines a little bit since Jota came in. Maybe there was some expectation. I know I had a bit of expectation when he first came in last year that he would be that player to challenge the front three, but it's actually been Diego Jota. So Minamino had a point to prove as well, and he had a fabulous game, which we'll talk about a little later. And the game started off better than we could have ever hoped. I feel like we haven't scored an early goal in a very, very long time. Last season, it was one of our kind of just when we scored an early goal, we just dominated the rest of the game and it just set the tempo, and we could just play the game like we wanted. And today, that's exactly what we did with a fantastic goal from Minamino. It was a really, really nice ball in from Trent Alexander-Arnold into Mane, who was interesting, who was kind of playing from the right-hand side with Salah on the bench. Mane was on the right-hand side, Minamino on the left. Obviously, when Mane first came to Liverpool, he started out on the right-hand side. He only really got moved to the left when Salah came in. So going back to a fairly natural position from him, but it was a great run from him, great ball from Trent. And Minamino was just kind of had loads of space around the penalty box, was able to take a nice little touch and fire it past Guaita for going 1-0 up within 3 minutes. So fantastic start to the game. And you could see, Klopp's reaction to that goal, how impressed he was, one, with Taki's finish, but two, how important it was to get an early goal to just settle the nerves. We didn't want another nervy performance like we had against Fulham, and that early goal did exactly that. However, after that, we kind of took our foot off the gas a little bit. It seemed like they were kind of still so relieved that we had scored an early goal that we actually let Palace come into the game. And as I said at the beginning, Zaha, Eze, Ayew, coming into the game, knew that they would have a couple of chances against our defence and just the way we play in generally. And that's exactly what they did. They were putting balls down the channels, stretching Fabinho and Matip. They were pushing their wingers and the strikers right up onto our back four, making it very hard for us to play out of the back. And they were honestly really, really good. Other than the final ball to get someone in, or to play Zaha in, or to play Ayew in, they were absolutely fabulous. And they definitely could have equalised. Even if they'd taken a couple of more of the chances, they could have even gone ahead. That's genuinely how good they were playing. And it was a bit of a problem. We kind of didn't seem a way to really stop it. Fabinho was getting bullied a couple of times by Ayew. And honestly, the only way we could get out of that was getting a goal. And fortunately for us, that's exactly what happened. We rode out that storm pretty well. And we scored a fantastic goal from Keita, playing the ball into Bobby Firmino. As I talked around earlier, that's what I think was one of the things missing. Whereas when that doesn't happen, Bobby Firmino has to come a lot deeper. And it just means that we lose that player, that focal point right in the middle up front. And so it was great to see Keita playing the ball into the strikers, which meant that they were able to kind of turn. We got a little bit of luck, but it was a nice little reverse ball by Firmino into Mane. One touch, bang. He's done that so many times for us, and it was a fantastic goal. And that was exactly what we needed. After that, we kind of then started dominating the ball again, like we had at the beginning of the game. And we scored a third goal just before the half-time, a fantastic breakaway goal. This one was my favourite. Firmino picking up the ball in our half, just outside the penalty box, laying the ball out wide with the outside of his foot into Robertson, who kind of ran 40-50 yards, as he always does so many times. Crossed it back into the middle of the park. Firmino was just kind of ghosting in. The defenders, the Crystal Palace defenders, didn't really know where he was, and it was a fantastic run. Nice control with his right foot, and then just toe poked it past the goalkeeper. 3-0 at half-time seemed a bit unfair on Palace, but we were just clinical. And as I said before, we haven't really been clinical, or this clinical at least, in a very, very long time. And it was fantastic to see. And going into the second half, we very much kept our foot on the gas, while Palace seemed to kind of almost from the second half whistle going, resign themselves to defeat. And I think that mentality fed into the way they played, the way they defended, the way they kind of basically just didn't attack in the second half. Zaha did nothing, and it just allowed us to create more and more chances. Henderson made it 4 with a fantastic sweeping finish, a little layback from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and very much a Gerrard-esque goal. We saw him do that so many times when he was coming in on that right-hand side channel, and he would just whip his foot around it, either as a cross or this time for Henderson as a shot. And when Gerrard left, you thought, Henderson captain, how can he replicate that? I'm not comparing them, but Jordan Henderson is emulating, if not in some ways surpassing, Steven Gerrard in kind of his contribution for the team, for the club, both in terms on the pitch, off the pitch, his captaincy. Like, he has taken on that mantle incredibly well. No one could have ever predicted how well he has played, and he is absolutely the perfect captain, and I think the best captain in the Premier League as well. We don't really talk too much around the importance of captains and good captains, but he, for me, is by far the best captain in the Premier League. After that fourth goal, it was still just very much one-way traffic. Mo Salah coming on for Sadio Mane, who was a little bit peeved to go off, but we were about resting players. We've now got a week before the next game, which I can't remember the last time we had a week between games, but that's what we got. So it was good for Klopp to take out Sadio Mane, bring on Mo Salah, keep that kind of attacking momentum going, make sure he doesn't lose any of his touch as well. And he actually set up Bobby Firmino for his second goal of the game. It was a nice little cut in from the right-hand side from Mo Salah, feeding Bobby Firmino, was able to just bully his way past the defender a little bit and chip the ball delicately past Guaita. It was a fantastic finish with his left foot as well. And yeah, he just a fantastic goal. And then the fifth and then both the sixth were both scored by Mo Salah. The fifth coming from a corner where Matip won the header. And you know, at this point you could tell Palace's defence was sleeping, because Mo Salah was literally on the 6-yard box, no one marking him, and he was able to just nod the ball past the goalkeeper. And then Mo Salah's sixth goal, the final goal, was just him cutting in on his right, cutting in from the right on his left foot and just smashing the ball in the top corner like we've seen him do so many times. Fantastic finish. Keeper had no chance. And that is it. That was 7 goals. Mo Salah taking himself back up to the top of the Premier League goal scoring charts with that goal as well. So a fantastic little cameo from him for the last half an hour, and exactly what he would have wanted coming on, and also from our perspective keeping him fresh as well. For me, the man of the match has to be Bobby Firmino. He's maybe faced a little bit of criticism earlier this season when Jota came in. You know, could he be the person that replaces Firmino? But we saw with his goal in midweek and now his 2 goals how important he is to the team. And, you know, it's been much publicised about Bobby Firmino's lack of goals. But if Bobby Firmino also starts scoring goals at the rate that Sadio Mane and Mo Salah are, I'm telling you, the Premier League is just not ready for that Liverpool team. He was fabulous once again today. And then finally, the shout out to Klopp. And I think for me today, it's more around the rotation and continuing to rotate the squad, particularly to bring in some of those players who've been injured for a long time. So Keita, I think, was a good example, played 90 minutes a day, was going to come on against Tottenham. And it'll be more important as well as we bring back Oxlade-Chamberlain, as Thiago comes back, as Jota comes back in the new year. That kind of rotation and just giving those players the time they need on the pitch to get them kind of fit and sharp, I think will be a really key important part to how we progress through this season. But that's it for this episode, guys. We've now got a week off before the next game. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you on the next one.